Hi.
Um, Gautier from Obvious, as far as I understand. Yes. So it's wonderful having you here and talking about your AI art or
Mhm.
AI assisted art.
Sure. Thank you for having me, and yeah, it's a pleasure to discuss AI and art today with you.
To start with, could you please explain a bit how did three people from, I believe, technical engineering background ended up as artists working with AI?
So actually, not all of them. We are three friends from childhood. The thing is that we used to we are like friends from a very long time, and after doing our studies, so one of us actually did studies in machine learning. The two others, something that is not directly related. And we decided to do this project because we wanted to do something creative together. We wanted to do something different. So one day we were living together back in these days, and one of us, so the researcher Hugo, he came back home and he showed us an algorithm. So it's like a paper describing an algorithm that could create new images based on a large number of images. And at that time, they were doing it on pictures of cats. And we saw that, and we thought that it had like a really interesting power, let's say, that maybe we could use to create something new. And then, but we thought that this algorithm asked a lot of questions, and we didn't have the answers. So we wanted to ask a broader audience. So we decided to create art pieces using these algorithms. It took us about 6 months to develop the algorithm, create the database to create the artworks. And once it was done, we created a series of 11 portraits that we printed, framed, and we signed with the mathematical formula of the algorithms. The algorithms are called GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. And this is how everything started. And then it went on. One of our works was sold at Christie's for like nearly $500,000. So there was a lot of media attention on our work, and the question was asked, and people started to understand these algorithms and to debate about, like, is it art? If something is created using these algorithms, can we call it art? And what are the boundaries, and what's the relationship from uh, between an artist and his tools? So all these questions, they kind of emerged. It was back in 2018 with this first auction, and so yeah, it was a mission accomplished.
And just to clarify, I thought actually that you were using open source algorithms, but you taught your own algorithm or you used an open source?
Yeah, absolutely. So the code is open source. We had to translate it to kind of to use it for what we wanted to. So the when you create with algorithms, it's really rare that you build the algorithm from scratch. You will always take some parts that are being developed by other people and made available, because it's almost everything is open source in this field. And so we kind of built based on different open source sources. And then we created our own database. We curated it, which means we took many images free of rights of classical portraits, and we cropped them so that they were all centered on the subject. There was never two people on the same image, stuff like that. And once we had this curated database, we trained our version of the algorithms on our own database, and then it created the series of portraits.
Mm-hmm. And what did you actually in the end decided to produce an analog form? Because it's
Uh,
fully digital, and then you've started actually as analog artists.
Absolutely. So what you have to know is that in 2018, NFTs were not that developed. So the only mean to kind of share an artwork and to put value on an artwork was to have a physical piece. And also we wanted our work to talk to everyone. You know, when you create something purely digital and you kind of share it in a digital way, you reach a certain type of people. But when you want to reach like a broader audience, you have to kind of fit the classical rules of arts, which means having like a physical portrait. And that's also why we framed it in a golden wooden frame, because we really wanted to make a reference to existing art. And we also wanted to kind of respect the tradition of art. And this is something that we've been doing after in our series. We've done a series of Japanese prints, and we worked with a classical printer who creates using mokuanga, which is a traditional Japanese technique. And for our series of African masks, we worked with a Ghanaian craftsman who also created the pieces based on his know-how. So it's really for us about finding like the crossing between the two worlds, and to kind of link them both, tradition, innovation, digital, physical, and we want to be right in the middle of all that.
Mm-hmm. And how did you end up with NFTs? I know that Super Rare, I believe, actually invited you, and you created an artwork especially for them, which was a landscape or something like a landscape. Again, very interesting
Yeah.
thing for an NFT.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, exactly. We were invited by Super Rare in 2018 to participate to the beta of their platform. So we're actually the 8th artist who have published on the platform. And back then it was really kind of an experiment, because NFTs were not that famous, you know. So people were like exchanging artworks. So we were exchanging our works with other artists, and there were some really early collectors who would collect artworks from artists. But it was like really the pieces sold for like something like €100 a piece, because also it was in Ethereum, and Ether was really low at that time. And so we really saw it as kind of a playground. We had like our physical series, and we also had like our digital playground where we could share our preliminary work. And so the first one was actually a landscape. And as you said, it's kind of blurry, and it's kind of a mess, because at that time, the algorithms, they could only generate really small pictures, and then you would have to use enhancing algorithms. So that's what gives the this kind of blurry aesthetic, which is also sharp. So it's an interesting aesthetics. And actually, well, now that we are working with algorithms, we keep on cultivating this kind of aesthetics.
And you're working with both algorithms. Yeah, I believe you also work from text to image and from image to image and
Yeah,
everything.
that's yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of working in this field, is that artificial intelligence is developing really fast. So every month there are new algorithms that you can use to do something creative with it. And so we started with text generation algorithms. So basically, you just take a lot of images and you create new images. But with the development of research, we've been able to experiment with text to image algorithms, text to video, also style transfer algorithms. So it's kind of putting a filter on an image. And now we're working on text to video algorithms. So really, it's like an endless exploration. And we're trying to pioneer everything by showing the world that new algorithms exist, and trying to also make them think about the impact that it has on our society. And actually, you can see it today with ChatGPT. So we can really feel the impact, and we can imagine like what's gonna happen in the future with that. And this is kind of what we've been advocating since the beginning, that there is a kind of a creative revolution with new tools being made available, and that it's going to change a lot of stuff. And so we're trying to participate to that, and to show that we can do interesting stuff with this type of tool.
And why have you preserved the link between physical and digital, despite having an NFT right now developed pretty well, but you still keep it
Yeah,
You
so
expose in galleries. You've been in Paris Art Week and so on and so forth.
yeah, absolutely. We were kind of attached to also to this kind of traditional arts, and the idea is that we don't want to address only a specific type of people. So that's why we work in the digital field and also in the physical one, because the idea is that we really respect both type of creation, and we want to kind of link them. And this is actually something that we did in our last series. Before that, we kind of wanted to we kind of saw NFTs as more like a medium. So when you create, you will decide, okay, I'm going to do a series of NFTs with that, or I'm going to do a series of physical pieces. And with our last series, we decided to do both. So there are physical pieces, there are NFTs, and there is actually a link between them. When you scan the physical piece, you can see the NFT on your phone. And so this is also something that we find interesting, is that with the development of this new medium, we can also create some more interactivity in the experience that we share. And that's also something we're trying to explore, how we link traditional know-how and like the traditional way of doing things by exhibiting in galleries and stuff like that, with the new tools and the new display that we have available. And so that's really part of our work, to kind of explore that and to broaden the minds of the people who actually enter the galleries and the museums.
Okay, so that's how you actually. I've read that you sometimes assist galleries with their path towards NFTs. That's how you do it. You help them to expose NFTs. You.
Oh no, we're more like we're represented by a gallery. So it's more like the gallery helps us exhibiting our work and sharing our work with the collectors from the gallery, or the people that go to different art fairs. But it's more like the gallery helps us to reach a new audience with our art, and it can be like our physical pieces or our NFTs. And so, for example, we were like at Art Paris last week, and one of our piece was exhibited, and it goes with an NFT. And so it's a way for people who are kind of not accustomed to NFTs to understand what it means to have an NFT, that if you have the physical piece, you don't necessarily have the NFT, that it can act as a digital piece that will live by itself. So yeah, it's the gallery helps us to kind of share this idea that a digital artwork can actually have value.
Okay. And in your opinion, galleries and museums are still important, despite the fact that you are somewhat more of a digital artist rather than an analog.
Yeah, absolutely. So very early after our auction, we've been invited to share our work in different museums, uh, kind of prestigious museums. So we were really happy about that. And to us, it's really what it means to be an artist, is to be able to share your vision to someone who's just walking by, and to so that he can learn new things based on your work. So that's really what we want to achieve. And museums are actually a good way to do that, because they kind of offer you a place where people are who goes there are really curious, and they want to learn more. So this is one of the way. Another way is to go through a gallery, and another way is to address directly the people from the digital field, using like the creation of a community through Discord and everything, or reaching out to through for example platforms like Super Rare. And the idea is that we really want to speak to a broad audience, and museums are actually a good way to do so. And also it's kind of it's kind of prestigious, you know, so you're always happy when a museum contacts you to exhibit one of your pieces.
I can imagine, yes, indeed. And going back to your works, each of your series has a narrative behind it. La Famille de Bellamy, the Japanese prince, the masks, they all have a story. How do you come up with a story? Even the last series, the piece which was actually presented in the Paris Art Week, it also has
Yeah,
a huge story.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
so how do
Uh,
you come up with those?
So the idea is that we want to do conceptual art. We don't just want to do something purely visual. One of the reasons for that is that we have different tools and they lead to different aesthetics, and we want to explore all these aesthetics. So our kind of red line is always to in the meaning more than in the visuals of the artworks, you know. So we first started with this series of portraits, and the underlying meaning is we just wanted to ask questions about artificial intelligence back then and the impact it can have on our society. So we decided to create a family tree, and each of the branch develops into good and bad uses of AI, and resulting in an ending. And so this was like our first series. Then the auction happened, and we had like all these reactions to our work. People saying, "Okay, this is really interesting." People saying, "Okay, I don't want to see that in my living room." And that was there were like all these polar reactions, and we wanted to translate that into our second series. So what we did is we found that the arrival of electricity kind of corresponds to the period where all these classical prints were made. And so we decided to make a parallel between the arrival of electricity in Japan and the arrival of artificial intelligence in our lives, you know, in our society. And we see that there are like many reactions. So we kind of describe the reactions we had to our work through the reaction of people back in the days to electricity, you know. So that was the second series. Then on our series of African masks, we really saw that there was kind of an issue with the meaning of artificial intelligence. Some people kept seeing Terminator when you talk to them about artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence, like it's just a set of tools, algorithmic tools, which are really powerful, but it doesn't have like a consciousness or stuff like that. And so like all the function behind it is really like it's really logical, you know. So we wanted to do this distinction between artificial intelligence and general artificial intelligence. General artificial intelligence is what you see in movies, and artificial intelligence is what we use every day as a tool. And so we created a fictive African society where each mask gives a power related to artificial intelligence. And this was also kind of to criticize and also to explain why people in the research field keep working on artificial intelligence and try to reach kind of an ideal of human consciousness, but in algorithms. And so we kind of compare it to like a religion, you know, like an African religion where people believe that the masks actually have powers, and all the powers are like components of AGI, so the artificial general intelligence. And for our last series that we presented at Paris, we really talk about the language and how text-to-image algorithms have developed and creating kind of a new language of interaction between humans and machine. So when we talk to a machine, we won't talk like I'm talking to you right now. For example, when you do like a Google search, you won't type all the words, and you just put something so that you get the best results. And this is exactly what happens when you use text-to-image algorithms. You don't talk in pure language. You also talk in you input some bits of code, some parameters. And what we're saying with this series is that there is like a new language developing, and that's a language of interaction between human and machine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is a wonderful explanation. And another question. With everything you've said about the controversy about AI artists and AI assisted artists, you still continue, even though you always say in all of your talks and interviews that you don't see AI as an independent artist. You don't see it as an apprentice. You only see it as a tool. So, but you still sign your works as a code. Why do you do that?
Exactly. So that was like kind of it was kind of provocative in the beginning, you know, to sign with the formula that was like asking the question, is it the algorithms or is it like the artist who created the algorithms? And this became our signature. We sign all of our work using this formula, and now we think that we use it more to give like a key of understanding to people, because we're not always in front of our works to explain, okay, this has been created using AI. So, for example, with our last series, they've been painted on canvas.
Mhm.
So when some people see it, they will see they will see it painted, and they will have no idea that it's been that it was created using AI algorithms if the formula is not there. So it's kind of a way to show that there is something special with this artwork, and so that people, when they see it, they do, okay, there is a mathematical formula. Why is it there? Then they check the cartel and they see, okay, it's been created using AI, and that's kind of the gateway to enter our world now.
Mm-hmm. And in the recent exhibition in NFT Factory, with a lot of AI artists or artists working with AI, what was that exhibition for you? You started like 5-6 years ago, and now there are just a number of people.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's what we've been fighting for since the beginning. We really wanted like this type of tools to develop. We really wanted this new generation of creatives to start working with it, because we think that we don't have like all the solutions, and we don't have all the propositions. So it's really interesting to see so many people getting into AI art. It's like the paintbrush, you know. If there was only 3 people painting in the world, we would be like, okay, this is amazing, but we need some more propositions, you know. There are so much many um, like artistic messages that need to go through, and so we think that thanks to those algorithms, some people that are not able to paint or to sculpt, they can express themselves using these algorithms, and they can propose like new concepts, and we find it really interesting. So it was really a pleasure to see all these people working with this type of tools. And we were also really happy to be part of this exhibition at NFT Factory. And also, it's really great to have like this type of space where people just share like their passion about digital arts, about AI, and this is like it's good to have a physical place to do so.
You also exhibited an NFT there,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I
Yeah, yeah.
believe you actually designed a token for NFT Factory.
Yeah, so we're actually part of the founders of NFT Factory, and we created the member token for them, and also the founder token. So the idea is that we design the token that everyone who enters this kind of community gets. And also for this specific exhibition, which was about AI, we created an NFT, and it was an NFT created using text to image algorithms, and also text generation algorithms. And it represented kind of how do you say, a cartel or something like that, like something you put in the street. And we got inspired by the ones that it's like an affiche,
A poster.
a poster, yeah, a poster. Yeah, there you go. So, and we were inspired by the posters before, like when the nuclear arrived, like the nuclear technology. There were like posters that were really that are really fun to watch now, where they say, "Oh, this is so cool! Nuclear is here. You don't have to do anything anymore." And so we wanted to do the same with artificial intelligence, because it's also like the development of ChatGPT, which asks a lot of questions. So it's a way for us to show that history repeats itself, and that there is always this kind of fear of innovation, and that in the end, it's not just all white or all black. It's just like a gray things that emerge, and we kind of learn how to live with it.
Okay. So for you, there is not a problem that artists are working with NFT, despite the fact that for many it is. There are lots of debate like that NFT artists are not real artists, but you always said that it's all about the ideas, not the implementation.
It's not necessarily that. You have like a different type of artists working with NFTs. Some of them will work on a concept or an idea, and others will decide to work like really on the visual. And like for the saying that NFT artists are not artists, we don't believe it's true, because for us, digital artists are just as much artists as everyone else. It's just that before NFTs emerged, they kind of lacked the medium to share their work, and now they have it. So it's just that it shed lights on how many people were actually doing something creative using digital mediums. We thought that people, I don't know, creating video games or creating stuff like that, they were not considered artists. But today they can have, beside their work, they can have like an artistic kind of passion, and they can share it using NFTs. And some of them are becoming greater artists than painters. So it's really interesting to see how it goes. And to us, it will remain like a digital art and physical art. It's like photography, it's you have new tools, a new way to share it. So it kind of creates a new branch in art, but it won't replace sculptures, or it won't replace paintings, because some people like some of them, and others don't.
As you mentioned, digital artists usually enjoy much more collaborations with brands, and they become extremely popular very fast. But not all of them, but many. So, in your opinion, it's a matter of digitality, or it's a matter of talent, or a matter of reaching wider audiences through many paths?
Yeah, for NFTs, you have like I think we have to separate two types of NFTs. You have the NFTs that are created for arts, like artistic NFTs. So usually they are like 101 pieces, like they're unique, and they kind of have an underlying message. And then you have the PFPs, the profile pictures, and those are like wider projects where that would collaborate more with brands and try to more like develop a community. And this is more like an agency or a marketing company. It works more like that, because usually it's like a group of people. They have a vision of a project more than a vision of a message that they want to share. So we have to first make this distinction. And for the ones that concerns us, so artistic NFTs, I think artists are not doing like more collaboration than classical artists, because classical artists, like we think about Picasso and everything. Of course, they were not doing collaboration. But when you look at contemporary artists who are using other mediums today, they tend to do also a lot of collaborations. And this is just a way to reach like a broader audience. And so the vision in the art world is kind of shifting, I think. Before that, it was thought that it was really bad for an artist to collaborate with a brand, because it was kind of selling his soul and stuff like that. But today it's okay. And so, and most of the people working in the artistic field today, they're interested about this type of collaborations, because we grew with this type of products all around us. So it's good to have an influence on them, and we know we can have an influence on people by modifying them, and so by collaborating with brands. So the idea is really that to me, at least, like the contemporary artists, he tends to collaborate with more brands to share his vision.
And is there any difference for you between digital and analog when you produce any of those? Or no, it's just this, it's kind of just a matter of expression.
Yeah, it's exactly a matter of expression. And I think the only difference would be that you don't address the same public. So when you create something physical, it will probably end up in a gallery or in a museum. When you create something digital, for now, it will probably end on a platform, and it will be more talking to like the community around NFTs. And it turns out that this community is kind of more used to all these tools and all these new means of creation. So when you create with physical, you will tend to have like a message that is more understandable, and it's more about trying to get people to enter your world and to explain them to be very pedagogic, you know. When you create with NFTs, it's kind of different. You can do like more experiment because people are already accustomed to this type of tools, and so you can go a bit further. So it's there is like this slight difference when you create with one of the others, but we like to do both.
In your series, Dreams and Nightmares, it's actually an NFT series, right?
Yeah.
But you exposed it in a gallery space later.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
what was it about?
So
You sort of started with a narrative for, as you said, a wider NFT audience, and then you just exposed it in a gallery space.
exactly, and so this is the thing about us, is that in the classical art field, we are kind of identified as the NFT artist or the AI artist, and in the NFT field, we are identified as the classical artist, you know, because we also do some physical work. So the idea with this exhibition was to take the codes from the NFT world and to bring them to like the classical artistic world. So we decided to base all these projects around an exhibition. There were like, you know, in NFTs projects, there are always rewards and stuff like that according to the rarity of your artwork and stuff like that. So we decided to link that to the exhibition, and we actually created this exhibition in Paris. So it was really interesting because you had like some people that at that time didn't go to many art shows or galleries, and they could go there and feel quite good because they knew everything about the works that were being exhibited there, and it was also a way to connect physically with people from this field. So some of these people we had never seen them, but we were talking to them for 2 years, you know. So it was really interesting to finally meet them, and so it was a good occasion to do so. And also we really wanted to. We thought that this particular series has a really interesting concept and world around it, and we wanted to build this world. So we created a room for the dreams and a room for the nightmares. And so there was this duality of a really light room, really clean and stuff, and you went down like stairs, and downstairs there was like a it was really dark, and you had to have a light to see the artworks, and so yeah.
So that was your idea of presenting.
Yeah, it was the three of us. We thought about that, and so yeah, we also like to do this type of stuff. This is the thing about us, is when we started, we were very used to doing everything by ourselves, and so we wanted to do like the creation of the artworks, the communication, the event, everything just by ourselves. So that was fun.
Okay. Are you actively involved with your collectors usually? Are
Yeah,
collectors interested in communicating with you?
Yeah, we try to. So the thing is that we have two channels with our collectors. The first one is kind of traditional one of email. So we try to keep them updated about our projects. And the second one is Discord. So that's where you find more NFT collectors and stuff. And we try to also engage with them regularly.
Mhm. Well, I guess I'm fully through with all my questions. It was wonderful talking to you, very explanatory about your art and your AI practices.
Pleasure.
Just to finish, taking into account that you've been in the field for quite a long time, what are maybe some wisdom you would like to share with other artists who are just starting in NFT field? Because still the NFTs and digital art is quite young
Mm-hmm.
compared with many others, even the contemporary art as itself.
Yeah, so it's really hard because no one has the answer to that, you know. So for AI art, I would suggest to start working with the tools available because there are so many now. You can work with Midjourney, you can work with ChatGPT, with all these different tools. You won't get like the best versions, but for starting, it's really good to kind of explore the thing. And for NFTs, I would suggest to start with like the community. You know, it's like the place is kind of overcrowded with people creating now. So the idea, I think, is to try to convey your message to an audience that is close to you, and then to expand slowly, and start engaging with other artists, collectors. Discord is really a wonderful way to do so. So I've seen actually some collectors becoming artists because they kind of collect so much, and then they want to try, and then they really like what they do, and so artists start collecting collectors, and this is like how it works. So like the idea with NFTs is really to get involved, to give, and then you will receive.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Yes, for me too.